I'm Laura Cooper. I'm here. I handle all the marketing for the Barnabas Group. Very excited to have you join us today. And I will ask each of our panelists to please introduce yourselves here too, and then we'll jump in.
All right. Good morning, everyone. I'm George Commons. I'm the managing partner of the Barnabas Group, and been privileged to serve as the leader of this organization since we started here in Kansas City.
Andrew, do you want to go next?
Sure. I'm Andrew Spiker. I'm a business law attorney. I own a law firm here in Overland Park doing general business law for values-driven business owners, and I serve on the board for Barnabas Group.
Susan?
Hi, I'm Susan Stiles. I am a director of product management and business development at Oracle Health. I'm a nurse by background, and so I've been had a long history in healthcare, and I too am on the board of Barnabas Group.
And then Isaac.
Hello, everyone. My name is Isaac Wambua. Excuse me, I do business consulting. I'm a professional speaker and I have a training company. We are based in Overland Park, and I'm a friend of George and a supporter of Barnabas Group. So great to be here.
Well, welcome. Thank you guys all. So I think we'll just kind of jump in here with a panel discussion, and then at the end, we'll open it up for questions from all the participants. So first, George, I'm going to start with you. Could you just describe the Barnabas Group KC a little bit and give some of its history?
Sure. The Barnabas Group itself actually started in 1999 in Southern California. It's basically a ministry to ministries. It started out of, I would say, the halftime movement. I don't know if anyone's familiar with the book Halftime, written by Bob Buford. It's a great book. It sold over 750,000 copies. And Bob was a very successful business executive. And he talked about in the book, moving from success to significance. And that's really a big part of what the Barnabas Group is about. We're a community of business people that want to move from success to significance, to use the gifts, the talents, the experience, the insight that God has given us and we've refined through our years of working in the marketplace, how to use those gifts for God's glory in the kingdom. So that's really what the Barnabas Group is all about. It was started by a guy named Bob Schenck, who is good friends with Bob Buford, the author of Halftime. And out of that, they felt the need for a place where Christians in the marketplace who wanted to seek opportunities to steward their talents could find them through pre-qualified, pre-vetted opportunities. The Barnabas Group Kansas City is the newest and fastest growing chapter in the country. We're now a group of over 270 amazing people. And we've seen God do some amazing things through this group, and you'll hear some of the stories on this call today. And there are many more beyond that. But to use the group collectively to have an impact in the city, we were sponsored a city leadership summit on human trafficking a few years ago. People may not be aware that Kansas City is actually third worst in the country for human trafficking. So we've feel directed by the Lord to spend a fair amount of effort in that battle as well. But we work with all types of ministries, solving or working in all different areas across our city. And just recently, we co-led with some other ministries the first 4KC Summit that brought together 100 leaders in our community to look at ways we could stem the trend of violence among young people in our community. So we're as a group, very active, but also individually with people in the group working with ministries.
Thank you, George. Andrew, I'm going to go to you next. What could someone expect when they attend a Barnabas Group Kansas City meeting?
Yeah, I think there's probably three main things they can expect. First, you should expect a lot of smiles. People just have a good time when we get together at Barnabas Group. A lot of people either know each other or have built friendships and relationships through these meetings. So everyone's always really happy to be there, which makes it a lot of fun. Second, you can expect to meet a lot of other kingdom-minded and values-driven business owners and community leaders. Those are the people drawn to Barnabas Group. Those of us that own our own business or are part of a company that wants to use what we can do in the market for something beyond just earning a living or growing profits. We want to try to make a bigger difference in the world. So you'll meet a lot of really, really high quality, just impactful people. And then you'll hear about some really powerful ministries that are doing work in Kansas City that you maybe have never heard of. My mind has been blown to hear from some of these ministries that are doing amazing work in amazing ways that I had never heard of before. So people can expect to hear about a lot of ministries that they've never heard of before too.
Perfect. All right, thank you. Susan, I'm going to go to you next. Can you just share how you got involved with the Barnabas Group Kansas City?
Sure, absolutely. I would say that through a friend of mine, reached out and contacted me and asked me if I'd be interested in talking to a group of people about some of my experience leading hospitals, being CEO of a hospital and being a nurse by background. So it turned out it was the Barnabas Group, and they were working with the Missouri Assistant Attorney General on some trafficking issues, really wanting to educate hospitals and nurses about how to identify traffic victims when they're receiving health care. And so the more I talked with them, the more I got interested and was able to help impact that by connecting with Missouri Hospital Association and Missouri Nurse Association. We put toolkits in the hands of both of those groups and got it disseminated throughout those hospitals and nurses, which was so impactful to me. But the more I played around with this and really worked and became part of it, Barnabas Group just grew in my heart and just knew that it was a place that I could also contribute and help in ways that maybe I hadn't been able to before. So it's really taking some of my passions in both healthcare and business world and helping those ministries that need some of that expertise or help from that time on. So it's been an exciting time for me. After that, I was asked to join the board and began doing that here now for a couple of years. So it's been very, very impactful for me.
Wonderful. All right, thank you. Isaac, I'm going to head to you now. What advice would you give to someone who is considering attending a Barnabas Group KC event?
First of all, I'll tell them to stop considering and just show up. Stop thinking about it. Because like Susan said, you never know what it is for sure until you experience it. It's one thing when you sit down with George or Tim and they tell you about it, it's logically sounds really good and makes a lot of sense. But until you show up through the doors and have those conversations and you hug people that you haven't seen for a long time and you feel like you belong. So if someone is considering coming to one of our events or joining the Barnabas Group, I'll say just come and give us a chance. It's a place, like Andrew said, you get to hear powerful stories. You get to feel people's heart and what they are working on and the missions that they are on. And Barnabas Group, to an extent, is making these dreams come true. Someone who has always wanted to help a certain group of people. So I would say, again, don't think much about it. If you're a believer like me, you can pray about it, but don't pray too much. Just show up. And you got.
That's wonderful. Thank you. George, another question for you. People, are busy. They have a lot of demands on their time. So why do you think they should consider becoming involved with the Barnabas Group, Kansas City?
Yeah, first I would say our co-founder, Bob Shank, was asked that question, why busy people should get involved with the Barnabas Group. And I think a great answer is, in all your busyness, what is it that you're doing that's going to matter for eternity? The reality is there are a lot of demands on our schedule. I used to be a sales leader, and you're all focused on meeting the number for the year, and then you meet your number, you get to celebrate it for about a week, and then you're handed a bigger number and told to go do it again next year, right? So successes we achieve are often shortly lived, and now we're faced with another challenge. But things that we do for the kingdom, for eternity, that's just a lasting value. One of my life verses in 1 Corinthians 3, a verse I heard at a Bible study at work. It talks about our works will be tested by fire, and the things that are gold, silver, and jewels will remain, and hay, wood, and stubble will be burned up. So I intentionally want to spend as much of my time as I can for things that will bring glory to God, things that will matter for eternity. Like Bob says, in your busyness, what is it that you're doing that's going to matter a year from now, or 10 years from now, or 20 years from now? And he, more than anyone else, everything he's asked to do, he filters through the lens of how is this going to matter through eternity? And that really marked my life. So I've become much more intentional on trying to steward my time to free up margin for things that will really matter for God and matter for eternity. The other part of that answer is, in the Barnabas Group KC, we recognize that people are busy. So we intentionally design everything we do for busy people. You heard Andrew and Isaac talk about our meetings. Our meetings are very, very tight agenda. They move very fast. And, we don't waste people's time. We give ministries 13 minutes to tell their story. We put them into then breakout sessions, which people get to self-select which breakout they want to go to from the ministries they heard present. Those are led by facilitated moderators and just run a very tight agenda. And then our meeting presentations are all recorded, so people can't make a meeting that can watch it later. Prior to the meeting, you get a 4-page ministry application on each of the presenting ministries, so you know what they're all about and where they need help and where you could possibly engage with them. So you can make an educated decision. Is this a meeting I want to go to or not? Is there something I may want to plug into, something that's of interest to me? Or do I want to catch the recording after the fact? So we give lots of ways for people to connect, but we design everything to have a high time ROI. So whatever time you invest in, there's strong potential for a big kingdom impact.
Thank you. Okay, now I have a question for Andrew, Susan, and Isaac, for each of you. Andrew, we'll start with you, then we'll go to Susan, then we'll go to Isaac. If each of you could just share a story of your involvement with a ministry that was a result of your participation in the Barnabas Group KC, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, I kind of have two stories that flow out of the same overall, which has been really cool. So at one of my first ever Barnabas Group meetings, I heard from one of the leaders of Rehope, which used to be known as Restoration House of Greater Kansas City. It's a wonderful residential ministry providing residential and other services to women survivors of human sex trafficking. And just talking about the legal challenges that these women face after they've exited that life, they're running into these hurdles that are preventing them from getting a job or getting an apartment or re-engaging with their family, things like that. So I heard about that, and that really pricked my heart. And not too long after that, George reached out to me and said that there was someone that had been in the human trafficking life and had come out of that and was now doing some really cool things in society, but was just running into some major legal hurdles. And so my initial interaction, beyond just being a sponsor, but to actually do some work in partnership with Barnabas and one of the ministries, was representing one of these women survivors of trafficking to have her criminal record expunged. We were able to go through a couple of year legal process to have all of her criminal record removed, so that now when she goes to apply for jobs or apply for an apartment, she can honestly and ethically say, no, she's never been convicted of a felony or a misdemeanor. And that's just opened up some really cool opportunities for her to continue to pursue a life of thriving that God's calling her to, and to do some of the ministry work that she herself is being called to. So that was kind of the initial project I worked on, which was really impactful for me and for our client. But then that has now grown into something that I couldn't have envisioned, which is Barnabas Group and my firm have been able to start a collaborative initiative with another nationwide ministry and then a nationwide law firm to provide services through this collaboration to any women survivors of sex trafficking across the country who have legal problems in the Kansas City metro or in any of the courts in Kansas City. They can contact these national organizations, go through an intake and vetting process, and then be referred to an attorney at this national law firm and have an attorney appointed to help them with their legal problem. So to go from just showing up at a meeting, hearing about one ministry, meeting one client, meeting that need, and now to see it growing and expanding into something that's bigger and beyond has just been cool. And we're starting to even see that momentum continue. I just recently was talking with the leader of another local ministry, Relentless Pursuit Outreach and Recovery. The chairman of that board is friends with an assistant attorney general in Missouri. Had coffee with them. They want to do a press release and a press conference around the work that Barnabas Group and this initiative is doing to try to just spread the word about more legal services that are available to women survivors of trafficking. So it's just been really cool to watch one project, one yes that I said now turn into something big that God's doing to provide help and hope to a lot of people.
Wonderful. Thank you. Susan, what thoughts do you have?
Yeah, I was going to say I have a couple too. I would say that he mentioned Rehope, formerly Restoration House. We got very involved with that. My husband and I did. We actually, attended some of the galas they had, helping raise funds for things. They actually took a building that was next to their housing area, which was an old church, and remodeled it for some more beds, because every day they were turning away survivors of human trafficking. And so that was really hard to do. So helping really actually do construction work on this church to create 12 beds, then helping with putting in some of the amenities within it. So we actually staffed a bedroom with like a bed, curtains, bedspread, sheets, and pictures on the wall to kind of make it like a home for that next person coming in. And so each year we actually provide now with our church and our small group one room that can be turned over for one of those women so they can use that. And it's really impactful because then we were able to bring in a group of people. Our church then did some things for them. And then, our small group continuing to do that small piece, which we love doing. And it really isn't taking too much of anybody to kind of make sure they're provided for. And the cool part about that is the women, when they leave those facilities and they graduate or they move on, they get to take it all with them. It's not reused for the next person. So the next person gets a fresh set of a bed, the dresser, all those types of things as well. So that they can feel the value of having those things that are theirs, which I love that. So that would be one story. I think the other story is after really hearing another partner that presented was Resource Health, formerly Rachel House. It's a crisis pregnancy center, women's health center, and just hearing the story of how they've grown in the past 30 years, but obviously continuing to battle and fight abortion-minded people that are trying to figure out what to do. And so kind of got involved with them. The more I talked with them, which really was a calling of just really, I'm supposed to meet with them and talk with them. I got asked to actually serve on their board. And so I'm the only medical person on their board, which really helps with what we've been able to do to reshape some of the women's health piece and really provide some new services to help with that, just through board participation and kind of advisory roles. So just very exciting, and I'm still on that board. I really enjoy it. And it tugs at those heartstrings also of that abortion minded.
Great, thank you.
Mhm.
Isaac, what thoughts do you have?
Yeah, for me, there have been so many connections, but two significant ones were there's a lady called Portia Sales. She's the director for an organization called Caring for Kids. And basically they partner with schools to help kids stay in school and provide really great resources. And George connected me with the Portia, I believe in 2021. And I was able to help them to streamline their processes and systems in the company, kind of part of what we do in our company. And then also some of the trainings that they were working on. So that has been a great relationship. and friendship. And then I got connected to Katie Fetzer. I hope that's how we pronounce her last name, with Empower the Fight. And, she spoke on stage, and that's one of the people that really moved me. Her personality, who she is as a person, the heart that she has, but also the mission that they are on, which is to fight child sex abuse and exploitation, basically, which is really huge. And as George said, Kansas City is a hub for sex trafficking. So Katie and I, we are supposed to work on a few things here and there, launching a podcast and all the other stuff that they are trying to do. But in terms of really doing actual work, caring for kids has been instrumental and also a big blessing for me.
Wonderful, thank you. Those are all excellent examples. So I think one final question here before we open it up to the group for your questions. George, what is the best way for people to learn more about the Barnabas Group, Kansas City?
Yeah, I'll get to that second. I want to postscript on what Isaac said, because, talking to Katie Fetzer, she talked about how Isaac inspired her as a leader and just changed some of her paradigms and how she approached her role and inspired her greatly. And, the reason the Barnabas Group is called the Barnabas Group, our role model is biblical Barnabas, who everyone would know as the son of encouragement. But if you peel the layers and dig into the story of Barnabas' life, he was out of the tribe of Levite. So his family were priests, but he was a marketplace person. And he was a key co-laborer to the Apostle Paul and John Mark. He saw potential in them as ministry leaders for the kingdom and came alongside them, mentored them, helped them grow, helped them flourish. To later in their lives, you see that he was an invaluable co-laborer and encouragement to them. And that's really what the Barnabas Group is all about. We hear over and over from ministry leaders how much it means to have a community of business leaders come around them. Being a ministry leader is tough work. And these 3 stories you hear today, and many more behind that in the group. But that's why we're called the Barnabas Group. So anyway, people can find out more by going to our website, which is barnabasgroupkc.org. Lots of information there. We also have a monthly newsletter, tell you about all the goings on in the group and upcoming meetings. You could sign up for that newsletter on our website. We do have a YouTube channel as well. But ultimately, the best thing is, as Isaac said, just come to a meeting. Encourage people to do that and check it out. So thank you, Laura. Thank you, panel, for a great session here today.
All right, so now let's open it up to hear from you and hear what your questions are. So if you want, go ahead and unmute yourselves and turn your cameras on.
Yeah, and I'm going to stop the recording at this point.
Okay. And so